Hey everybody, welcome to Vidovic Arts. I'm Josh, and today we're gonna go straight into some Assault Marines. Now in the previous video, I did kind of say they were a little bit hard to print, and I still haven't fixed that problem with my printer. I'm troubleshooting a whole bunch of stuff, but we should be able to get it working eventually. But for now, there is one issue with these guys. Well, there's two with this print, but you guys should be able to print it, no problem. The feet, if you look at the feet nice and closely, they're kind of missing a foot. So that's the only issue with these print. Anyway, let's actually have a look at how they look right here. They're quite nice. I'm really happy with how they've come out, but like I said, if you see here, they're missing a foot. Now, I printed 6 of these at once, so enough parts to make 6 Assault Marines in total. And, well, there are only 3 legs that managed to successfully print without any errors. And, I mean, that's okay, I guess, but I really want to get it working 100% of the time. And I might put a video together once I solve the problem, just to sort of help anyone out there who are using resin printers. I am pretty new to a resin printer, but yeah, I think we'll work it out. I've worked out a couple tweaks, so hopefully we won't have any more delays in the future. Anyway, let's get into the making of this here Assault Marine. Now, as usual, I am actually using models that previously exist, so if you haven't seen any of those videos, I urge you to go check them out just to see what the other models looked like. And you can also download all of those parts for free over on Thingiverse. Anyway, this model, like I said, was based on a model that already existed, but well, the main thing I really wanted to change was that the legs and the assault backpack. But it actually takes a really long time to make anything look good, and especially to scale. Now, fortunately, I actually had a actual Assault Marine squad to reference, unbuilt as well. So I had the Assault Backpack, which was really helpful just to use as a reference as I was building this. Now, one of the first things that I worked on was the actual jetpack exhaust. And you can see here I'm just pretty much creating some primitive shapes like cylinders and cubes and cutting them out of the shape that is going to be the exhaust. And it's not too difficult, but the higher the poly count, the more complex and unlikely it is to actually successfully cut out. Now, I was going to cut out these bits at the top, but I decided that I may as well just make actual edge loops and kind of extrude inversely to make those grooves in the top, just little details like that. Now, I did kind of make these a little bit too thin. They're a bit hard to see on the actual model, but if you are a skilled painter, you should be able to get them visible. But yeah, they were, I mean, I was originally going to cut them out, so they were going to be a lot more difficult. I'm hoping, I don't think they'll come up on an FDM printer, so I might have to go back, or some of you guys can go back and make these a bit larger, just those indentations, and hopefully they work better for everybody. But I have printed this and it looks pretty good. Now, I pretty much used the stock backpack that has already been made, that I already made, but I removed a whole bunch of the stuff like those exhausts and those extra exhausts that are down at the bottom, and I pretty much added in some tubes, and this is all based off the model that I held in hand while doing all of this, and I tried to get it as close as possible. Obviously it's not identical to an official Games Workshop model, but it's pretty damn close. I'm pretty happy with it, especially considering when I'm printing this, when I'm making this, I don't have actual scale. I'm just doing it purely to eye, and that's how I do all my modeling, bear in mind. So yeah, it's gonna have a little bit of differences here and there, but once I print it up, I usually can tweak it to match a model, just because I have reference now that I have printed it. I know the actual scale. With the jetpack here, this exhaust, I'm just doing more kind of cutting and edge loops and a whole bunch of different techniques, and I'm just trying to get the general shape. Now, I don't know if this is the best way to have gone about it, but I'm pretty happy with it. But like I said, I had 2 problems with this print, and one of them was with the jetpack. I printed it pretty much upside down, so the top was the bottom when I printed it, and that's where the supports hung onto. And I think I kind of goofed up by doing that, because that top bit has to be pretty damn flat, and I ended up with all these little support struts that were sticking out of it, and it ended up ruining the model, because I had to go back and kind of smooth it out and make it look nice. And I think it was just a little bit more work than I should have had to have done to begin with. And I think when I print more of these, which I inevitably will, because I want to make an army of Space Marines here, I will be changing the angle of how I print this. So when you do print these, don't print them upside down, just as a heads up. Even though it seems like the most logical direction, because it requires a lot less supports. It only requires the supports on the bottom to be printed upside down. But yeah, you're going to have to do a lot of cleaning, and it's not worth it. But, you know, I feel like if you're going to use supports, which you have to with resin printers, you want them to kind of stick on the underside of models, or in places where the model's not going to be seen. So I probably would get the supports underneath this thing next time. Now I noticed with the official model, the thing that the backpack sticks into, it's a little elongated, and I can't work out why it's like that. I'm sure there's probably a model that you could attach this to that might have a different positioning for the back, like the back hole bit, that the extruded circle thing that you stick backpacks onto. I'm not really sure why it's elongated, but I did it anyway, just in case this model can be used on other models. I'm not sure what it goes for. Someone let me know in the comments below, because I just copied the model as close as I could, and I don't even know what I was doing at the time. Now, the legs are probably the most important part, because without them, they're just walking guys, and I wanted to make these guys kind of look like they're hovering or jumping, kind of mid-air landing, some kind of cool pose that could work with other things, so you don't have to have the jetpack if you didn't want to use these legs, but they are more or less hover legs, we'll go with. And yeah, I kind of screwed up because I didn't save the legs out, so I had to reparent all of these and change the position and all that kind of stuff, which was a bit of a headache, but I got it in the end. And I'm actually really happy with how the legs came out, not how they printed this time, but they look really cool. They're very simple. There's nothing really fancy going on with them. They're just jump legs with a little stilt at the bottom of the foot that I ended up adding in. Now, one of the other things I wanted to make sure was that the arms were the right way around, because I have extra arms with the bolt gun that kind of don't look right when the guy's holding them. It just doesn't fold properly, and when I was making the models in this, it looked okay to me, but when I printed it out, there wasn't much I could do with the pose. So I just changed the angle of this bolt gun hand and arm just to look a little bit more usable for a whole bunch of different things, instead of him kind of holding it a little gangster style. I'm not sure what that stance is, but sideways shooting. So yeah, you should be able to use this for multiple things. Now, the other thing I wanted to do with this model was to have a chain sword. And, well, I guess you could have any model if you wanted to. You could extract models that are existing on Thingiverse and bring them into this and just delete the chain sword and plop it into his hand. So this was a universal kind of thing that I wanted to make. The chainsword is pretty iconic weapon, along with the bolt gun, to go with any kind of Space Marine. So here is the chainsword being made. I wasn't really sure what I was doing to begin with. I didn't have any references, and I wasn't using any to begin with. At first, it was just a big bulky thing, and I realized it needed to be longer and less bulky. But, you know, we got there in the end after I decided to actually look at some references. And yeah, I'm really happy with how it printed amazingly, to be honest. I just made sure that those little chain bits, the saw blades, I made sure that they were facing up, because otherwise it would have a lot of supports for every single one of those little cutty chain blades. Yeah, if you're looking at it right now, imagine printing it on that angle. You would have a lot of supports going to each one of those tips, which you don't want. You want it to be the other way around, so it just prints perfectly fine. So make sure you angle your models properly when you're printing them. This is what I've learned quite a lot recently, because I am very sick of cleaning supports, but it's kind of one of the things you just got to do with 3D printing at this point. Now, like I said, I made this weapon with the full intention of people being able to use it, which I think is really awesome. Now, I'm also going to be releasing a bunch of different weapons, so a bunch of just bolt guns and bolt gun variants, so you can keep an eye out for that. When it came time to painting, I went for my scheme. I'm not really sure what to call this scheme. It's just the Hospitaller scheme. So it is a flayed one flesh for all the metallic parts, and I went in and I added that, I keep forgetting the damn name of it. I added the contrast of snakebite leather to add that dirty look and the rusty grunge, because again, my story with these guys are that they are medics, or the Hospitaller being people who go around saving those who are damned. So their armor is very rotten, nearly rotten. They try to clean it as best as they can, but they're dealing with plague victims and all these kind of nasty viruses and what have you. And of course, with every Warhammer kind of lore, you're going to have some sort of military force defending people who are helping people, just because of the way the world is. But yeah, so these guys, I haven't made a medical class yet, but we will be getting there eventually, so we'll have some apothecaries, if that's how it's pronounced. These guys are basically the guys who defend apothecaries. Apothecaries? That's a very old word to be using, but these guys defend those guys who heal people. So we're going to have quite a bit of a force. And I decided with the paint scheme as well that this white and red scheme, so predominantly white or flayed one flesh, these guys are the original Hospitallers, and they've got a lot more insignia that says that they are who they are, and their armor's much more decayed than other Space Marines that might join their cause that they find along the way, or even possibly other, Imperial Guard or anyone who decides to join these guys. Although I think it would be a pretty sad kind of life trying to heal those who don't want to be healed, especially considering this universe basically hates anyone who isn't human or, is kind of tainted by chaos in any way. These guys are going around trying to heal them and return them to, humanity, but they're struggling. They're in a pretty bad state because they're not getting any kind of reinforcements and stuff. Besides the people who are joining them, who are sort of heretical in nature, they're kind of healed from the taints of chaos. So kind of a controversial kind of army to have that kind of believe in the Emperor and still serve the Imperium, but they're kind of going against what most of the Imperium believe to be the Holy Gospel. But they think they're doing the right thing, so I think they're good guys. And yeah, here they are. Like, we're getting pretty cool army at the moment. I haven't painted up any more guys with shields, but I think they work really well together. I do have some extra dudes who I ended up putting together who have yet to be painted, but you can see here, you've got like the forward line and, like jump infantry, and you could make these and combine them if you wanted to. So you could have this guy here with a shield going with this guy here with the sword, or you could have the sword with this. You can interchange these around as much as you want to, and that's what I really am loving about this right here. Just the interchangeability, it's just awesome. Now, I have had some of you complain about the fact that they are only interchangeable and they're only single parts. So I am going to be making models that are complete and they will be fully posed, so you can print them on your FDM printers. I am sorry that I didn't do that originally. Some of you have already gone ahead and started combining these and modeling these for yourself and making all these different poses that you can print out, but I will be doing that as well, just for those who can't and don't have access to that kind of stuff. yeah, just a huge apology to those who are still using FDM printers, because I still use them. I've just been using resin since I got the resin printer, and I really wanted to just try and print up really high fidelity kind of stuff without having to worry about the FDM printer. So in conclusion, I'm pretty happy with how these guys have turned out. I hope you guys are too. You're more than welcome to customize these as much as you want over on Thingiverse. Like I said, you can chop and change them and do whatever you want with them, really. They're completely yours for free, so go over there and download them and print them up. And I'll have the other files made up sometime soon. I will just be releasing them. I won't make a video for it or anything, just because I can't be bothered making a video for it. But I also have that extra couple things, like the bolt guns and stuff, that I want to give to you guys, and I will be making a little video and possibly a tutorial, but I use mostly Maya, and that's you have to pay for that, but I don't really know how to use the other softwares, so I'll just give you the bolt guns, and you can do whatever you want with them. And yeah, let's see what you guys come up with. And as for the rest of you, if you are making these and painting these, definitely head over to Instagram and post them so we can all see them, and use the hashtag VidiVicArts, and you will have a bunch of people seeing your work, including myself, and I'll leave you a comment, and I'll love your work, no matter your paint grade or paint skill level. I want to see what you get up to, and I really love all of you who are doing that. I think it's a really awesome community that we're building over there, and I mean, it's Instagram, it's not much of a community building thing, but I think it's really cool. And a huge, massive thanks to everyone over on Patreon. As always, you guys are amazing, and honestly, this is for you guys, because you guys are supporting me through everything right now, and I couldn't be doing this without you, just hands down. Just so you guys know, I can't thank you enough. And if you do want to support me further on these videos, you can head over to Patreon and pledge a couple dollars per video or per month. Completely up to you, so you don't have to. Just watching this video to this point here it's more than most people do, believe it or not. So yeah, I'll leave you with a little sneak peek of something I've been working on. I'll let you know. I've been secretly working on some Necrons way ahead of time, so if you head over to Instagram, you might be able to see a couple of Necrons over there. So yeah, let me know what you think of those. So I'll be making those, and hopefully we'll have a full army by the time Necrovember comes, and we can get them out for everyone. Anyways, that's all we have for now, and as always, stay awesome, everyone. See you guys.